Hey everyone, it's Sophie. I'm here at ZCon in Los Angeles. We're here today talking to your favorite content creators, activists, and Gen Z leaders about what matters most to them, some hot takes, and how brands can better serve our generation. So follow along. Describe Gen Z in one word.
Ambitious.
Why?
If we see something that we want to get done, we get it done. If we want to do something, we go out and do it. I think our generation is the most ambitious generation out there. If we see an issue that matters to us, we start acting on it and we start speaking out against it.
Passionate. You just look at the people in Gen Z, they have something they're passionate about that they want to do. They care about making sure that our planet's better overall for all of us. So I think just the passion you exude from it, and I think we're going to see that today, is really incredible.
Slay. I mean, look at us.
Are we still saying slay?
I say slay. I am. So everybody else better say it.
Work, because Gen Z works, like with an E, also works with like working to make the world a better place. And there's this whole complicated thing about Gen Z doesn't like to work. Gen Z likes to do things that make them feel fulfilled, and that can involve work. And we're all working to make the world a better place.
Resilient. When we want to get something done, we're going to get it done. And there could be barriers or blockers in front of us or hurdles. But in track, they jump over hurdles. It just takes a little bit more energy and time and commitment and practice, but we'll do it.
Probably slay, honestly. I mean, such an overused word, but
Yeah, are we still saying slay?
You know, I say it like kind of ironically at this point, but I've said it so much in my workplace that the old boomers in my workplace now say it, almost making fun of me. So it's like interesting. No, but I think it really it just kind of summarizes the impact that we're having on culture, on work, on the whole world.
I'm gonna say woke. I feel like Gen Z is very aware, unlike a lot of other generations. I mean, beyond just like people's pronouns and respecting people's sexuality, and I feel like Gen Z is very woke on so many different levels. We're a lot more self-aware.
What would you say to people, though, who hear the word woke and they jump to conclusions?
Relax. A lot of people get uptight with the word woke, and then there's like fake woke and all these different things. I think what woke means to me is just being self-aware and being aware of not trying to offend others, just realizing the repercussions of your actions. I feel like that's what Gen Z is kind of all about.
Diverse. Within the American country of America, we are the most ethnically and racially diverse cohort in American history. On top of that, we're also the most diverse cohort when it comes to sexual orientation. So when you mix those two together, you get so much diversity just along those two lines. When you also look at like socioeconomic class and just perspective, Gen Z, at least our identities and our cores, are the most diverse group.
Fearless. I think what I really respect about Gen Z is going back to what I said about shyness and opinions. I think Gen Z is very bold, fearless with their opinions and how they want things to be. And we're not afraid to shy away just because something is the way that it's always been. We're ready to make the change and do what works for us and what we know works for us.
Driven. I think I'm projecting. I'm a Scorpio. And I really care intensely. And I think that is reflective of my Scorpioness, but also of me being kind of a Gen Zer.
Chaotic, fun, lazy.
Why those three?
Chaotic because we're so full of energy. Fun because we're kind of the center of the party, you know? And lazy because we try our best to work so hard without doing so much. Sometimes less is more.
Unhinged, whether it's in a good or positive or even calling out people in a negative way, because I think whether it's social change, you know, we're unhinged. We are really coming at it bold. We're not here to ask for permission. We're here to take the spotlight and shine it on things that really matter and that are authentic. Whether it's, you know, taking control of brands, and, you know, Zaria, she is the definition of, you know, being a young Gen Z coming into a brand and being unhinged. You know, it's riskier now not to take risk. And I think that as Gen Z can be applied in so many factors.
Complicated, because I think we're not a monolith, right? Like there's so many different viewpoints and opinions, and I also think that there's so many backgrounds. I think that we are living in a very complicated moment in society that we're all trying to navigate uniquely. There's a lot of juxtaposition and contradiction inherent within that we're moving through. And I don't think there's any instruction manual for how to live when the world is literally and metaphorically on fire. And so I think that we're all firefighting in different ways and in different modes. It's complicated. There's a big fire to put out, right?
Chaotic dash good. That's one word. Gen Zers have a lot on their minds. We're working through a lot of different things when it comes to the world, when it comes to ourselves, our sense of self, our relationships, with this intentionality of how can we benefit the people around us and hopefully the world around us, even if it's in a micro action and in a small way. So I think we're trying to be intentional with that as we're all figuring out what life looks like.
Resilience. Gen Z is a generation that does not take no for an answer. We're going to figure it out. And so with that being said, previous generations before us, I feel like if no was the answer, then that's what a lot of them would take. Gen Z is really a radical generation that is reimagining what a better better world looks like, but they're not only reimagining it, we're practicing it every single day and being intentional about it.
Chaotic. Gen Z has a lot to bring to the table, but I feel like we're still young people and we have a lot to learn. So I think that we're not a mess, but I think we're definitely very energetic, very chaotic group that has a lot to contribute to our future.
I think we're empowering because we are the future and we are the movement. So we're ready to take action and speak for each other.
Bold. Gen Z is so creative and so daring and not following the rules that have previously been set out by folks. We're absolutely changing the way people think about who should be a speaker in situations like this, who should be learning in situations like this, and realizing there's so much intergenerational dialogue that's going to need to happen in order for things to actually move forward in our world and for things to actually change.
Driven. I think a lot of us have seen how much is wrong with the world, and we are always exposed to how much people are doing, and I think that's been really inspiring to us to do more. So it's a double-edged sword because there is that pressure of, am I doing enough the same way my peers are? But also I think in a lot of ways, challenge is good, and some of that pressure can turn coal into diamonds.
Bold, because it's just like they're very just unapologetic, they being me too. We just believe things and we stand up for them, and we have so many outlets of being able to speak about those things, and it's very, very cool.
Opinionated. I think we have opinions on a lot of things, and I'm trying to think of a word that sort of encapsulates, on one sense, this emboldened, incredible, passionate, opinionated side, while on the other side, difficult, opinionated side. And I think that word sort of does justice to both of those things.
Fighters. I think that we're all really feisty. Oh, this is 3 words, but also curious, also loving.
We can be more than one thing.
That's
what we're all
literally
about.
Gen Z. I'm like, don't put one word on my generation.
I love it.